Good morning, Triangle Day School. Today will be 70 degrees and there will be rain today. So we don't have any birthdays today and we don't have any talented tornadoes. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. And this is a story called The Stone Cutter. Once upon a time, there was a stone cutter. And his job was really, really hard. He'd have to go out to the mountain every day and he'd have to work for like 14 hours every day cutting stone. It was a very difficult job. He always went home. He was very tired. He didn't make a lot of money. He didn't have much food to eat. It was difficult. And one day he saw, just as he was leaving work, he saw this very wealthy person going by in a caravan. He thought, wow, I wish that I could just wake up tomorrow and be just like that really wealthy person with their large caravan with all this wealth and riches, and they were being carried. And he says, that would be so great. And so the next day he woke up, sure enough, he actually was this really, really wealthy person. And it was wonderful because he had all this delicious food. He had a big house. He had really nice clothing. He didn't have to go up to the mountain. And then he saw a bunch of soldiers going by, and behind them, the king of the country where he lived. And he noticed how much power the king had, and he thought, wow, this is so wonderful. I wish that I could be the king. That would be really cool. And guess what? The next morning, he woke up, and he was the king. He really liked being the king. And he had this big palace, and he could look over all of his lands and say, I am the ruler of all of these territories. And yet, he was really hot. Even though he could control this whole country, it was really hot, and he was getting a little bit sunburned. The sun was in his eyes, and he said, wouldn't it actually be just glorious to actually be the sun, the thing that's even more powerful than the king? And so, sure enough, he closed his eyes to go to sleep that night, and when he opened them, he didn't have eyes. He was actually the sun, and all of his light was shining down all over the earth. And he thought it was really cool, right? Because now he's got his whole power. He's shining down on the earth. And yet, there was something blocking his way. And he thought, what could possibly be more powerful than the sun? And he realized that there was this dark cloud blocking his sunlight. And he thought, wow, this thing is more powerful than even me, the sun. I'd like to be the cloud. And suddenly, he was that big dark cloud. The thing more powerful than the sun. And yet there was something pushing against him, something moving him. And he thought, what could possibly move me? What could possibly move me? The thing that's stronger than the sun, this big dark cloud. And it was the wind. So he thought, I see. So the wind is actually the most powerful force around. And so he said, I would like to become the wind. And suddenly, he became the wind. And he was blowing around. He could blow all of these clouds, these things that could even block the sunlight. He was blowing all over the whole world. Yet there was something that was in his way, something that was stopping him. And he thought, what could possibly be more powerful than the wind? There's nothing more powerful than the wind. And it was a mountain, a huge mountain. And so what do you think he did? Of course, he wanted to become the mountain. And so he did become the mountain. And he was this mountain. He was tall. Nothing could move him. Even to the wind, he was immovable. And yet there was something chipping away at him, something taking away from him, something even more powerful than the mountain. And with his mountain eyes, he looked down, and there was a stone cutter. So he said, I guess I'd like to be a stone cutter. And he woke up and he was a stone cutter. And that is the story of the stone cutter. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, TDS. Bye.